Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Two Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. You know, we're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Two Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Two Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. So excited today. I've got actor, writer, director Al Miro with me. So welcome, Al.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
I'm really excited about our conversation. I know you've got the new movie coming out.
Yeah.
Loved you in Firefly Lane.
Thank you.
That was a nice appearance you made there. You were, if I remember right, you were Dmitri.
I was, yeah.
I
wasn't wearing much. Wasn't wearing much, just an apron. It was an interesting day on set for sure. Yeah, it was really fun meeting Katherine Heigl, just wearing that. You know, when you meet somebody that you've known for so many years and you're literally just, you have your ass out. It's kind of like super awkward. It's like, nice to meet you. It's like,
yeah, it'd be nice
butt.
if you could have that little meet before the scene, maybe.
Yeah, not really. No, it didn't really. I just went down and it's like, here I am. Hi. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, but it was fun, man. Like, it was just that one episode, but it was a funny role.
It was a good role.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, we enjoyed it when it aired. It was funny.
I got a lot. I got to tell you, like, that's probably the most messages I've gotten from random people on social media. Like, the amount of people that
it's amazing what showing your butt on TV will do.
It's amazing. Like, it's really funny. The amount of people that messaged me and followed me because that was pretty funny. I'm like, that's hilarious. Yep. So there we go.
Hey, whatever works.
Whatever works. Yeah, I guess I got to do more of that. I don't know.
I mean, the reviews are in. They want to see more.
Exactly. The fans don't lie. They'll tell you what they like. So there we go.
Well, and I'm an old school comic book guy. I grew up collecting comics. I owned a couple comic book stores. I was in college.
Right.
So I was always an Archie fan. So I enjoyed Riverdale.
Yeah. And that's funny actually, because I was supposed to be in 3 episodes, but because of Firefly Lane, I initially lost the role because there was a conflict.
Yeah.
And I only got to be in one of the episodes because else somebody else got COVID. And so I was able to get my role back in a way. But initially, yeah, I was doing Firefly, and then they needed me on set on the same day. And
Isn't that
we
always
couldn't
the
do
way it
it. So,
goes? You're probably sitting
oh
around
my
with
God, it's
nothing to do
always,
for a while.
yeah, it
And then
happens to me
everything.
all the time. Like I've lost a bunch of roles because it's like, come on, I haven't done anything in 4 months, and now like both gigs are at the same time. Like that's crazy, man.
You
And for
couldn't separate them
Firefly,
by a day.
dude, yeah, and we tried, but and for Firefly, it wasn't even. It was a reshoot, so we'd done it, but we needed to do a reshoot. I was like, come on. But so that I was bummed out, but then I was kind of happy when they managed to get me in there. So
Yeah.
I still got to be
Yeah, it
in
worked out
Riverdale, which was
okay.
awesome. It totally did. Yeah, it was fun.
That's not,
Yeah,
that's
so that
not
was
too
great.
bad. Well, so
Not too bad.
let me
Yeah,
back us up. I was jumping ahead a little bit.
sure.
Yeah, tell me what
Yeah,
got you into acting. Why'd you want to go into the
sure.
entertainment business? That's a tough business.
It's a tough business. Yeah, I was told many, many times. I think I got into it because when I decided to become an actor, I was so young. I was a kid and I had no idea. Like, I honestly cannot remember when. I know it was the one thing that I always knew I wanted to do, like in my life. I think, like, at some point as a child, I wanted to be Santa Claus. And then I went from wanting to be Santa Claus to being an actor. And I think it was probably around like 5 years old or 6 years old. I started seeing movies and I'm like, oh, that's what I want to do. And my parents would be like, it's really difficult. Like, I don't think you want to be an
Yeah, it's
actor.
tough. Well, parents,
And they're
they
right.
always want to make sure you've got a
Yeah.
career that you can make money in.
Yeah. Parents hate it when you tell them you want to be an actor. That's like their worst nightmare. They're like, come on, anything else, anything else. But I never changed my mind. So I kind of just, since I was a kid, that's what I wanted to do. And I stuck with it, and it's tough, man. Like they were in line, so many times I've got actor friends that are like, if they're having a bad day or I'm having a bad day thinking about the industry. And I always tell them like, well, they told us. I was like, to be fair, they warned us it was going to be tough.
You were
Nobody
warned.
said it was going to be easy. So we were, we still decided to go for it. So yeah.
What I find kind of interesting is that most of the time, if you talk to anyone and say, what'd you want to be when you were growing up? They're going to tell you something that they're not, because it changes. Most times maybe it's a baseball player or whatever. And then they switch to their actual career as they grow up. But with actors, it seems like almost all of the time what they say is, I've wanted to be an actor since I was little.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the case. You figured it out at 5. This is what you want to do, and you stuck with it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not something that logically, when you're an adult, I mean, I do know some people that made the switch, but usually as an adult, you're not going to be like, you know what? I think I'll be an actor. I think I'll choose the hardest career.
Right.
I feel like it's something you have to choose when your brain isn't like developed enough to realize how difficult it's going to be.
That's right. And then you're in it. And
then you're in it, and then you love
here.
it, and you're kind of like addicted to it, and you're like, well, here we go. But no, you're totally right. Whereas a lot of people with a different career will say, like you said, it's like, oh, I wanted to be an astronaut, or I wanted
a firefighter
to be
or whatever. And some people do, but the majority don't. You end up switching to something else.
Exactly. So that's a very good point.
I was I wanted to be an athlete. Figured out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not though.
Oh yeah. What did you want to play, or what did you want to do?
I didn't have a preference. I just liked sports.
Okay.
So, when I was in high school, I played baseball, ran track, basketball. My dad was a basketball player growing up, so maybe that. And I was one of those. I was good enough to be on the team. I just that was it. It wasn't going to be
Yeah.
So I figured out pretty quick. Okay, I'm going to have to. What's my plan?
Yeah. I played sports and I was the worst. I never wanted to be an athlete. Like I was the worst. And my parents would put me on every team, basketball and soccer and baseball. I wasn't a baseball team. Like I wasn't a baseball team in Montreal, and like I only hit the ball once on the final game. And I was so confused by the fact that I actually got it that I just stopped and looked at everybody. I'm like, what do I do now? And they're like, well, now you run. And I was like, well, I just spent the whole season like just, I go and I swing and I just go back to the bench. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm running. And I actually scored, I actually managed to score a point. Is that even what it's called? I don't know. So it was like, damn. But yeah, it was pretty bad.
I played with a friend of mine growing up, but he was terrible. He was terrible. He looked like he should be good, but he was not.
Right. That's
and he
funny.
was the same kind of situation. He played, a season of baseball, never made contact with the ball. Time would strike out. Occasionally might get a walk, just because the pitcher wasn't.
Totally.
But then the last game of the year, he finally hit the ball, but it only rolled like 3 inches in front of the plate. But he got so excited. He was just standing there jumping up and down, yelling, I hit it.
That's funny. That's what happened to me. We have this, oh my God.
We're all yelling, run.
That was exactly what happened to me. And everybody was like, you got to run now. But I was so excited that I actually hit
You're
it.
Just
that I was
happy
just
to hit it.
Absolutely. And the good thing was I was actually really good at running. Like all that stuff, like track and field, that was pretty good. So the running part was actually like, oh, I get to run now. I was like, I've never got to do this, but I'm actually good at this part. So then I ran it actually like, I made it to the home base, whatever it's called. I don't even remember, but I got a point. I got a point. And we won. We won the season. So there we go.
You're obviously a clutch hitter.
What's a clutch hitter? I don't even know that.
Well, that just means that you're good in stressful situations. So when the game's on the line, that's when you bring out your best.
I never thought about that. I was just too relaxed before. But when the stakes were high, I showed up.
You showed up.
It was let's go with this. It was my strategy the whole time. I was bluffing everybody. All right, let's go with that.
You were just making them feel comfortable, so they maybe throw you a ball you could hit, and then
absolutely, that's it. That's it.
When you were in school, were you doing theater as well?
Yeah. As soon as I got to high school, I mean, I started high school and I didn't really speak English. Like we just moved.
Yeah.
So we had moved from Italy to then Montreal. And Montreal, I learned French. So I was speaking Italian and French, and then moved when I was 13 to Vancouver. And, I didn't speak English.
That's a lot of languages.
Oh, dude, it was a lot. Like my brain was like, what is happening? Like I just learned 2 and now you're throwing me a third one. I'm like, this is too much. But I got into theater and, I started doing plays without even knowing what I was saying. I remember we did a play called The Complete Works of Shakespeare. So it was like a 3-man show. And we had so much text. And I was very animated, so people thought it was really funny, but I had no idea what I was saying. I just memorized the lines the way that they were written, and I was just putting a lot of animation into it. But I had no idea what I was saying.
They thought you were funny. You were just trying.
They thought it was hilarious.
Make sure you were giving it enough emotion.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I knew I was being funny, but I didn't know what the text meant. So it worked out. But
did you learn English by practicing, like just like teaching, learning, that type of thing, or was it like a lot of people say from watching TV?
Well, on it, I was just thrown into it. I mean,
you were kind of like learning it on the fly.
Because I had to. I mean, I suddenly got here and I was going to school and people were talking to me in English. I had no idea what they were saying. It took me, I would say, like a year to finally getting comfortable enough to actually talk to people. But like the first year was really tough. French was a lot easier. I think going from Italian to French was a lot easier. English was like very difficult. So it wasn't,
English is difficult to learn because
English was difficult.
It doesn't the rules for our language don't
exactly. It's so confusing. It's so confusing. Like you're reading a word and it's spelled completely differently from how you say it.
Yeah.
So it was difficult, but I learned because, I was in school and I mean, I was just like, I was like, you have to learn the language. So yeah.
I'm glad you did.
That was it. Yeah. Oh my God, me too. It would have been, it would have been many years of me not talking to anybody. So, I'm glad I did it.
Struggle.
That would have been tough. Yeah. I'm glad I did.
Yeah. The good news, if you speak English, French, Italian,
Yeah.
that's a big chunk of like all the cinema and the entertainment business in the world. Those countries.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool. And it's cool in that way. And because that I speak a little bit of Spanish as well. I understand Spanish and that kind of stuff. So it's definitely useful. It's good to know. The more you know, the better it is. So, and when you travel, it just kind of makes it easier as well.
I know. My wife works for Live Nation, so she's traveling all the time, and she's kind of like that. She's just picked up bits and pieces of the different languages from the country she's been. So she can speak a little bit of a lot of things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it comes in handy when we're traveling because she
absolutely
and like she'll struggle speaking it, but she understands it better than she speaks it. So that helps quite a bit.
Yeah. And she probably can find a way, even though, it's tough to speak, she can probably find a way to communicate.
She can.
So that, and that's amazing. That's so useful.
It's so helpful because I'm an introvert anyway. So guy talking to people, out in public anyway.
Yeah.
I was in a country where I didn't speak the language. I'd struggle because I would be like, I don't know.
It's tough. I will say, luckily,
please don't let me die.
Yeah, that's right. English is the one that in a lot of countries you go to, they end up like kind of speaking it. They can, they're like, oh, you speak English. Okay. Yeah. I've even gone to places that it's like, I think I'm going to speak the language, and then they just switch to English. It's like, let's just speak English.
I know it's kind of the universal one that everybody.
It kind of is. Yeah. Unless you go to like really small towns and stuff. But a lot of times I was in Portugal and like everybody speaks English.
Yeah.
Because Portuguese is tough. I thought it'd be easy because I spoke Italian, but it's actually very different. I was like, this is tough. It's not like
if
Spanish.
You listen to it, it's tricky.
It's really tricky. It doesn't sound like Spanish or Italian in any kind of way. So when I went, I was kind of speaking English. I'm like, I think that's going to be the easiest.
She's going to Portugal either this year or early next year. So I'll tell her
you're going.
Most of them. Oh, no, I don't think I'm going with her, but she's going.
Your wife is going. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I'll tell her that they speak a lot of English.
They do, especially like if she's going to like a big town and stuff. Like the smaller fishing towns might be a bit more difficult, but no, most everybody will. So she'll be be good.
She'll like it. She tends to team up with the local company members there.
Yeah. Perfect.
They take care.
Great.
Yeah, they take care.
But if you get a chance to go with her, it is beautiful. If you
I'd love to. Usually, our normal routine is first time she'll go by herself because that's the busy.
Okay.
You're doing setting everything up.
Yes.
But then when she goes back, I'll probably sneak out there.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. So we got to talk about Puppy Love.
Sure. Yes.
What a cast in that movie.
Yeah, it's a great cast.
Oh my God.
It's awesome.
So tell me a little bit about what's Puppy Love about. What's your role in it?
Great. So Puppy Love, it's a romantic comedy starring Lucy Hale and Grant Gustin. And it's about these two people are complete opposites. Lucy's character, Nicole, is free-spirited, wild, kind of a fun person. And Grant's character is the opposite. It's an introvert, a bit of OCD, still very affected by the pandemic. So like kind of scared of going to work and, having people in his space and all that stuff. But they go on a date and the date goes really badly. But the dogs, so they bring their two dogs and the dogs end up hooking up. And then one of the dogs gets the other dog pregnant. And so they kind of have to deal with that. So it's a little bit like Knocked Up with dogs. Like that's kind of.
it's kind of hilarious when you look at it.
It's funny. It's funny. It's a funny premise. And I really like the script. And I actually think it's a really funny movie. I think it's almost more of, it's a romantic comedy, but there's a lot of comedy, and it's rated R because there's a lot of it kind of takes a lot of risks. I think some people went in seeing it thinking it was going to be like a Hallmark type movie,
right?
But it's not at all. And I do read comments of what people think of the movie, and like there were some people very offended. I just read one today and it's like this person was very offended by the movie. It was like, I can't believe they use so much foul language, and they were just like shocked. But and I'm like, that's why it's fun.
Kind of funny, but I mean, if you're going to make a realistic movie,
100%.
That's how we talk.
100%. Like whatever. Like also, come on, man. Like get over it,
Yeah.
but it's fine. That's some people like, very
I mean, are you going to
bland.
go into an R-rated movie and not know that there's going to be some stuff in it?
Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of the difference when movies are not in theater anymore and they're just on streaming. I don't know if you know that it's R-rated,
I guess it's true. You don't really pay attention. It
No,
probably shows it
you don't
somewhere.
you don't pay
But
attention. You just see like the poster and the preview, and then you press play and you don't know. And so people are just like, oh my God, I was like shocked by it. And it's like, oh my, like it's not, I mean, there is foul language, but it's not like it's anything outrageous.
yeah.
It makes me wonder where some people live. It's like,
Well,
come on, like
some people,
you got
that's
a
what
very
they're
sheltered
watching.
life.
Is they're watching
What's it?
Hallmark and
I guess, but they must have a very sheltered
networks.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's the way I look at it. Just you're not saying it. Just
Yeah. Oh my God, it's a movie. Like
just a
just
movie.
just enjoy it. But I think it's super cute. And my character is Hunter, and I'm a billionaire CEO of a tech company. Super weird, really wild and kind of crazy, very offbeat. Just a like Hunter is just weird. Like he's a strange guy. I think he means well, but he doesn't really know how to um, communicate with people. Like he's socially awkward in a way. Like
Yeah.
he's not, he doesn't understand. It's like he's not from a different planet. Like that's how I look at
I
it.
mean,
Like, just
that sounds like a fun role to play to me.
it was probably one of the funnest roles I've ever played. Like it was, and we got to improv so much. Like we had a ton of improv, so every take was different, and we just laughed so hard. But yeah, so I'm kind of the guy. I hired Lucy to stage my mansion because I want to sell it, and then we end up having a bit of a romantic thing, and I become, kind of the other guy
Oh
that
yeah,
becomes
triangle.
yeah, and I kind of create a bit of drama between Max and Nicole, because I'm the other dude in a way. And but yeah, like I'm just so strange and weird, and like we just had the best time filming. Even my outfit is ridiculous. Everything about my character is insane, and I love it.
What's your character's profession in the film?
Yeah, so he's the CEO of
Yeah, he's the boss.
Cryptio,
That's right. Yeah.
CEO of Cryptio, and I own this so I'm this really famous guy. So when Lucy's character finds out she's staging for me, she's like, "Oh my God, this guy's like, he's a big deal. He's a
Yeah.
bit of a, yeah, he's a bit of like an Elon Musk type
Yeah.
guy, like at
Yeah.
that level of like this guy is huge, but because of that, because he's kind of very wealthy and even lives in a pretty isolated mansion, I wanted him to not know how to deal with people, and is just
Yeah.
in his own world of the shit he says. I mean, the lines I have are ridiculous. My whole character is he just says like shit that makes no sense, and watching Lucy's face to the things I tell her is so funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and Jane Seymour's in it as well, I think.
And Jane Seymour is in it. Yeah, that was
I
really
mean, that's
fun to
not
meet her.
terrible.
No, and she's so funny. Like she's just she's such a funny person. She's just great. She's very lively, and
I mean, it's hard to
so
believe. I mean, I was
cool.
watching her when I was a kid, and that was
Right.
40 some years ago.
Yeah, she looks great. Like she looks really good.
Yeah,
She takes care of herself. Her energy is just so vibrant, and
awesome.
yeah. She's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
terrific. I know the movie just sounds fun to me. Like
It's super fun,
it sounds like
honestly.
it might have be a little stressful in parts because you got a little love triangle going on, but it sounds fun to me.
Yeah, but even that part, I wouldn't say it's stressful. It's just funny. It's like wild and funny. I highly recommend it. I mean, obviously I'm in it, but I can't say everything I've done I would recommend. This one I really do. Like I really like this movie. I think it's super fun, and it's an easy watch. You can like, I have friends who are like, oh, this is like something that I can see myself like rewatching, a few times, because it's just fun. It's it's just fun. It's like a fun movie, and Grant and Lucy are just great. They're so good in it.
They're
Which is
younger,
awesome.
they're fairly young, but they've already
Yeah,
accomplished quite a lot in their career. So that's
Lucy and
kind
Grant.
of
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah,
of
they're doing all right. Yeah,
they're doing okay. So I
I mean,
said it's
he's
a
the
good cast.
Flash. Yeah. He just came out. He just finished doing The Flash. What
Yeah.
was it, like 9 seasons or
It was
something?
on for a
And
while. Yeah.
yeah. And Lucy's got a great career, and as they should, because they're both really, really talented, but also really humble, which is
Yeah.
really nice to see, of people with that amount of fame that are just so good at staying humble and kind to everybody. Like, it was a really great cast. There was no ego on set from anybody. We all just got along so well, and
And that
um,
makes it a lot better, for
it
everybody.
makes it so much
Because
better.
as an audience, if
Yeah,
you're getting along on set, it's probably going to bleed into the film, and we're going to
I
notice.
think so.
Yeah,
I
I do
think
too.
so. Like, we just had the best time, and I think it translates you know, into the film for sure. And even with the directors, Richard Allen Reed and Nick Fabiano, they were so much fun. Like, they're some of my favorite directors that I've ever worked with, because they're so cool and they're so chill, and they really give you a lot of creative freedom,
Yeah.
which sometimes, especially on TV, sometimes you get used to. Like, you show up, do your job, don't screw it up, and go home.
Yeah.
Don't change too much, just do exactly what we want. And this was like the opposite. It's like, come and play, like, let's try things,
Yeah. Oh, I
let's
love
just go
that.
for it. And it was the best.
Yeah.
For
Usually
sure.
you don't even, you don't have the time to just come in and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
play.
And I will say, I mean, it's not like we didn't have a lot of time to shoot it. Like, it was a fast shoot, but but the time that we took, it was just about being creative and just
I love that.
you know having a blast, and being like, even my character changed from when it was written to when I was cast.
Yeah.
Even the name changed, because he wasn't initially, I don't think he was supposed to have an accent, I think he was supposed to be an all-American guy. And then when I got cast, they kind of gave me an idea in the audition, like, hey, maybe do one take in a heavy accent, and I did. And so we ended up changing the name, and making him more like the foreign
Yeah.
guy, which was super fun.
Well, and that has to feel good as an actor,
It
knowing
feels
that they're
great.
changing the role.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's no greater compliment, because when you book a role, and it's like, well, this like fits you perfectly. It's like, yeah, I feel good, but it's like, obviously, but when it's like kind of different, and I think they had seen a bunch of people, and weren't finding what they want. Like, they just
Yeah.
weren't finding the right person. And so I think I came in a bit later in the audition process, and the cast director knows me, and so she called or she was hanging out with my agent at the time. It was like super fluky. Like, she was hanging out with my agent, and and she was talking about this project, and so they're like, oh, what about
Oh,
Al?
it's meant to
And then
be.
they're like, yeah. So she texted me. It's like, hey, I'm here with the casting director. It's like, maybe you can do this, and send me notes. And then, yeah, and then they sent it, and I got it, which was
Yeah, that's
awesome. So,
awesome. Do
yeah,
you
and
do you get
it's a huge
a
time.
is there a scene in the movie with you and Grant confronting each other?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first one we shot. That was my first day. Was the last scene. I pretty much did the movie like, we shot it backwards, because my last scene was my first scene. So that's when I met Grant, and yeah, it was great. Like, I got punched in the face by him, which was
Well,
fun.
you're not going to
And
be
we
able
did
to
it.
avoid that. He's really fast.
He's really fast, even in that, like, he gets his lightsaber out. And then the funny thing with that scene is that it was supposed to be pretty, like, he just punches me and I leave. But after he punches me, the director comes, and because they like to kind of mess with the other actors.
Yeah.
So they came to me and they just kind of whispered, they're like, hey, like, do like a crazy karate move, and like, just to throw Grant off. But I was like, what, a karate? This is like my first day. So I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? I was like, karate. I don't know karate. So then I just like just said rolling, and I just did this crazy karate move. And Grant was like, what is happening? Like, what is that? And then I didn't think they were gonna keep it in the movie, but they did. They kept the karate
That's
move, but
awesome.
it's so random. But it totally works with the fact that, and that kind of gave, because then I think that the character in my mind got even stranger. I was like, okay, if this is where he goes, and this guy's weird, So I was like, all right, I guess we're going for it. So funny. But yeah, so we
Love
did a
that.
karate move. That fight scene was really fun. I really enjoyed that whole scene to shoot.
Yeah.
It was super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping they had a scene with the two of you kind of battling
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was great.
Some movies in that genre, they'll avoid that.
Yeah,
You'll see the girl on her dates
yeah,
with the
yeah,
different guys, but the two guys never get
yeah,
together. I was like, that's
yeah,
the conflict.
yeah. It was awesome. Like it was so fun. Yeah, 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 for sure.
So did did he show up when you were on the date, or did you show up when he's on a date?
Uh, I was on a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the date, and I come home, and so because they end up living together, uh, because
Oh,
of the
okay.
dogs, they
Yeah,
end up
because of the
becoming
dog.
roommates, right? So then Nicole decides to bring me back home, and so we come home drunk, and Grant is just pissed because it's like, who did you bring home? And I start like messing with all of his stuff, and he's super OCD, so he gets pissed, and
That sounds hilarious.
so that's what happens. That she brings me home
Yeah.
back to their place where they're roommates, and he obviously has a crush on her, but hasn't told her. So nothing has happened between them yet, and yeah, so the conflict happens at their place. Yeah, it's fun.
Where can we see Puppy Love?
So in the States, you can see it on Amazon Freevee. And
Yeah, I
that's
love Freebie.
free to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can watch on Amazon Freevee. It's still there. If you're outside of the US, it's on Amazon Prime. I know in the UK it is, and some other countries as well. It's actually not in Canada yet. I've had friends asking when's it coming out. I'm like, I don't know. Um, but in the States, Amazon Freevee, and in the UK on Amazon Prime, and I believe in other countries on Amazon
Yeah, I
Prime
think
as
it's
well.
eventually
Yeah.
coming to Amazon in the US.
Yeah. So
Just
yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta wait a little while. But Freebie's great. I mean, you just go to
Freevie's
the
great.
same, it's
Yep.
the same
Yep.
app. You just have
Yep.
some ads in
Absolutely.
there with some of the
Well, but
freebies.
now you have ads on Amazon Prime as well. So
It is weird. I think they're all figuring out ways to go back to
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yep.
So that's interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, as
But
a
Freevee is free.
consumer,
Anybody can download it for free. You don't have to
yeah,
pay anything.
free is the
So
key.
free is the key. So check it out. Anybody in the States can watch it.
Yeah, it
It's out
sounds
now. So
great.
yeah.
And
And
yeah,
it's
what a
really
cast.
fun. It's a great cast. Everybody's super talented. The whole supporting cast is
Yeah.
really funny too. Like so many great actors. So check it out. It's great. It's a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
it sounds
fun.
like a great date night movie. Like I already talked to my wife about it.
Absolutely.
I was like, I already got our next movie.
Check it out for sure. For sure. Just have a good time, and it's an easy watch. It's just fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Get some
awesome.
popcorn going and you'll be good.
Little popcorn, maybe some red wine. Do
Sure.
some of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Red, white, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a
whatever you like to
I
drink.
can't my wife's a wine drinker where she travels. She learned to drink it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Okay.
I can
Okay.
do it, but I don't like it. So I'm a I figured out I can do prosecco. I like prosecco.
Okay.
So I'll do that.
Okay.
She'll drink red wine.
Great. Got a bottle of
I mean, I
Prosecco, a
could do
bottle of red,
white
and you're
wine,
good.
but I prefer the prosecco, so I just stick with that.
Get Prosecco. You can even get the little bottles if you don't want to
I know.
open a full one. Get a little
The
bottle of
little one. Yeah,
Prosecco and have a good night.
it's pretty good. Yeah, you can get those
Absolutely.
little ones. You can get like two drinks out of them.
Totally. Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
a lot of times that's
Yeah.
enough.
Absolutely. I got a couple in my fridge right now that was gifted to me by one of my students. I'm also a teacher, so
Yeah, I was going to
I,
ask you
I
about
teach
that.
acting. Yeah,
What made you decide to kind of open up a studio to
yeah.
teach a little bit?
That's a good question. I mean, I kind of fell into teaching. I was doing a play years ago, and then somebody who ran an acting studio saw it, and she asked me if I'd be willing to go in and
Yeah,
teach. And she was teaching. She ran a school for kids. I was teaching acting to kids for a bit, and then got a job at another studio teaching adults. And then the pandemic hit, and we all got laid off because the
right.
school had to close. And I had to kind of like figure, because that was my job. And I was like, I was kind of freaked out. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. People started doing like Zoom classes. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll do Zoom classes on my own. I started doing Zoom classes on my own. And then I kind of realized like my students, from just kind of followed me. And then when the pandemic eased, I looked for a studio space and ended up
Good
just
for
started doing
you.
my own thing.
Kind
So
of
yeah.
giving
And now
back a
it's
little bit.
awesome. I love it. What's that?
I said giving back a little bit.
Yeah, and I love it. I mean, I love teaching. It's teaching acting is such a gift for me,
Yeah.
and it's made me a better actor, you know. It's made me a better actor, which
I've
is
heard that
awesome.
from other actors that teach,
Yeah,
and they say that a
yeah.
lot. It's not just about passing on their knowledge; they're picking up
No,
stuff too.
100%, because you always have to think like, what's working, why is it not working? So it
Yeah,
really makes you see. It's like you're witnessing, and you're like, oh, so that's why you just become a much better actor, I feel.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense to
Yeah,
me. So I know you've
yeah,
done some writing, so a little bit of directing
yeah,
too. Is that
yeah.
is that something you want to do more of behind the camera?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. I mean, right now it's mainly my web series that I've done.
yeah.
Uh,
Talk about that a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
It's that's funny.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
Yeah, thanks,
yeah, what's
man. I
the name of
appreciate
it?
it. How to make it in Hollywood when you're foreign as fuck. Can I say the F word?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
I kind of
hilarious.
just
Just the title's hilarious.
yeah, and again, just kind of a fluke. I didn't even know I was gonna make a web series. I just like filmed myself one day and then edited, and I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. And I put it out there. It got a lot of media attention. Like I was just getting calls from um, all the news stations here to talk about it, and which was hilarious. It was like random. I was like, I did not do this for that, but everybody wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
So it got a lot of attention, which was awesome. And so then I kind of built on that and wrote it with more actors involved, and
Do
it's
you ever
fun, man.
use
It's like
some people that you teach on the show?
I have, yes, I have one or
That's
two
awesome.
people. Well, definitely one, which was really funny, was the episode where I'm stoned, and then at the end there's this girl who like is doing this very dramatic monologue, and I just come in like I just mess up the whole thing because I just come in completely stoned and start eating some ice cream, and it was funny. But yeah, she was a
Sounds
student of mine, so
hilarious.
that was fun. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
so
for
I
you.
love doing it, and I love comedies. So writing comedy for me is so much fun.
Yeah.
So I'd love
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, you
I'd love
seem
to do
like
more
you've
of that.
got a little affinity for it.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
love comedy.
Where can
That's
we watch the web series?
it's on YouTube under Miro Studios, so you can check it out on YouTube again for free. Check it out; it's super fun. It's cute. The episodes are pretty quick, but it's a good time. Yeah, it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I've kind of found if you're going to make it in acting, you almost have to
Yeah,
create some of your own stuff to
you
keep you
do,
busy
you
while you're
do.
waiting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's surprising. Like people will watch it. I mean, I I might even think that maybe having done that series kind of got me the role on Puppy Love, because I think that's why they're like, oh, somebody who can do like a heavy accent. And they thought
Yeah.
about my character and How to Make It in Hollywood. Right. So because of that, I was kind of able to show the industry that I did do comedy. Because with my look, I don't actually get called in for a lot of comedies.
Right.
Like Hollywood is like you have very specific things.
You
For
get
me, it was always
pigeonholed.
like
Yeah.
you get pigeonholed, and my look isn't really like they don't look at me. And it's like, oh, he's the funny guy. But because I did that, then casting realized that it's like, oh, he can do comedy, and he's got a heavy accent. So I think that actually led me to them think of me for Puppy Love, the casting
Well,
director.
that kind of made
Um,
the web series
yeah,
worth it right there. Just for
yeah.
that.
So, absolutely, absolutely. So
Yeah.
yeah, create. I mean, if I have any advice for actors, yeah, create your own work. Put it out there. It's so easy these days, to
Well, it
to get
really
things
is.
made. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
easy.
you can
So
do. Yeah, I think that's why so many people podcast because it's easy to
absolutely, because
do
now it's
and
easy. Yeah,
it's a way to get out your creativity. Whether or
absolutely.
not you get an audience, that's a different story. But
That's
you can put that
different.
stuff
That's
out there.
Yeah, and you never know. Like you
Yeah.
never know who's gonna see it. You never know. And at the end of the day, it's fun, man. Like, I mean, that's why I did my web series. It's just fun. Like we have a good time, or even doing this podcast. It's a good time. You
That's the
know,
only reason my son and I started it. We had no
that's
ambition
awesome.
to turn it into
Yeah,
anything. We just wanted to spend
yeah.
time together. And then,
Which is awesome. Yeah.
5 years later, here we are, and we're like, how'd this happen?
I love that, man. That's so cool. Good for you. Congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been pretty great. I have to.
Yeah, I bet.
It doesn't seem like work, so
That's the
can't beat
thing,
that.
right? And
Yeah.
that's the best. Yeah.
Well, we got a studio that's a mile from the house, so
Okay.
I can leave the house and go to
Perfect.
work, and it feels
Perfect.
like I'm going to work, but I'm
I,
there
lo-
in like 2 minutes.
I love that, man. That's ideal. And you get to just hang out and have fun and talk to people, which is great.
It's silly that for
Uh,
me though, working like my wife works at home, she's fine.
okay.
She's one of those rare people that just probably works more than
And
would work in an office. She's fine.
right.
But if I'm at home, I'm constantly distracting myself.
I'm the same.
I was like,
I
oh,
feel
there's
the same. Yeah.
there's something I can clean or
I
whatever
feel
it
the
is.
same.
And
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
get distracted. So I was like, I got to
yeah.
find somewhere I can go and
I gotta get
I
out.
can put myself into work mode.
Yes. Yeah. I feel the exact same. Yeah, I'm like you. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I come here, I'm ready to work. But when I stayed at
Perfect.
home, I was like, I get distracted too easy.
Yeah.
That would work
Yeah. 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 Oh, for sure. Yeah, man. Like you need a different space where it's like, I'm just here to work. I can focus on that. Then go home and chill. You know.
Oh, I forgot you were in Dangerous.
I wasn't dangerous. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah. Yeah.
talk about a great cast.
That I know. Mel
If you go
Gibson,
and look
Scott
at just the
Eastwood,
cast list,
Ty-
you go all the way down the list, and you know
Tyrese.
everybody on it.
It's crazy, man. I know that was a crazy, and it's funny because when I booked it, I actually did not know that that was the cast.
Yeah.
And then I saw an article, and I was like, "Wait!" And I remember sending it to my agent. I was like, "Wait, is this the movie I'm in?" Because it was like an article with deadline of like, Scott Eastwood, Mel Gibson, Tyrese Gibson, in Dangerous, and I was like, "Wait,
Yeah.
is this the movie?" I was like, oh my God, that's insane. Like that's crazy. Yeah, that was cool.
Famke
That was fun.
Janssen, right? She was in it.
Yeah, Famke Janssen's. Yeah, it's great. It's an amazing cast. It
Yeah,
was
that's like I forgot
yeah,
that one, but yeah, that was a good movie.
yeah. That was fun, man. I got to do a little like stunts. I mean, I call them stunts. Probably stunt people wouldn't think so, but to me it was like stunts. And I was like, this was it was fun, man. That was a fun action movie. And I'd never been in an action movie, so that was cool to be in an action movie.
And this you're right with the comedy stuff because like looking at you, I'm thinking that's an action actor.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
that's usually what
I actually love it that you're good at comedy because it's unexpected. That makes it even funnier.
Yeah, exactly. And I can also do the dramatic stuff and all that, but usually that is what I this evening. It's like, oh yeah, more of a dramatic kind of.
Comedy's tough because it's kind of like music, it's got a rhythm to it.
Yes,
and if you're out of rhythm, the joke's not going to land.
I know, it's crazy. And I really think even when I coach and stuff like that, like it's a bit more difficult to teach.
Yeah.
Like some people are just really funny, and
and some people
it's
aren't.
It's something that it's not that I think it's easier to teach somebody to do dramatic acting than it is to teach somebody to do comedy. Yeah.
It's tough to teach somebody to be funny. You're either funny or you're not. Usually.
Yeah. Absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Al, thank you so much. This has been terrific.
Thank you. Yes, I'd love to.
When they pick up your web series and turn it into like a Netflix show or something, you got to come back.
Absolutely. I will, I promise. We'll make it happen.
So a couple of things, Al, before we wrap up.
Yes, sir.
Anything else outside of Puppy Love that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
I might be. I'm actually waiting to hear about a project right now. I just got an email yesterday, but I obviously can't talk about it. It's also not confirmed. So
if you hear about it, you're probably going to get another one following it immediately.
Sure. Yeah. That's exactly it. So there needs to be two that come at the same time. But yeah, I just got an email yesterday about it. It's been, I don't know if people understand how the process works, but it's being sent to network. I have to be approved by network. So we're going to find out about that, but can't really talk about that.
No, it's so stressful as an actor because there's like,
it's very stressful.
There's that, maybe you get the notice that they're considering you or they got you on hold or whatever it is.
Yeah,
so you're still just waiting and then somebody has to approve it. So you're still just waiting.
Yeah.
And eventually maybe they offer you the part.
And then you see the movie and you're like, oh, I guess I wasn't in it. You're still waiting. The movie comes out.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. I was like, oh, the movie's out.
The movie's out, and that's a different person. I guess I didn't get it.
So when you
it's a
can
tough
talk
business.
about it, I assume you
Yeah.
put that out on social media. So where
Yeah,
can we find you
exactly.
there?
Usually that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, where can we
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
you there?
So on Instagram at the Almiro.
I like the. I should have
The,
grabbed the. I don't.
yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. I think Almiro was taken, so then the was like the
Yeah,
second
but see,
best
that makes
option.
you seem like the real one.
That's right. That other Almiro,
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
just
know
the
who they
other
are.
Almer.
Yeah. I don't know who they are. I'm V. So it does. Sometimes I feel like it sounds pretentious when I say it, the Almiro, just so you know. But it's fine. It is what it is.
Hey,
But yeah,
if it's the truth, wouldn't
absolutely.
that's just speaking the truth.
But yeah, so people can follow me on there on IMDb, of course. I actually just went back to my full name, Alessandro Miro.
Yeah,
So
that's a
yeah.
very Hollywood name there.
Yeah, I just decided to kind of like use my full name now. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well,
So
you've established yourself a little bit. You should use your full name.
yeah, why not? Exactly. It's like I'm all just about finding my authenticity right now. So it just makes sense. Also, Al, I mean, I always say this, but I got really annoyed when AI started becoming a big thing because every time they write AI, it's spelled the same exact way as Al. And it's
Yes.
been driving me crazy for a year. And we had the actor strike that was all against like AI's taking over. And I just kept reading like Al's taking over, which isn't the worst thing. I'm like, I am taking over. But I get to the point that I kept reading Al and it was such a negative way that I'm like, I can't go by Al anymore. It just AI and Al are spelled the same. So I was like, I'll go with
All
my
right.
full name.
This is giving
Yeah.
me an idea for a new
Okay.
series that you can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So you you do it like you have put out an
Yeah.
AI app, just like all
Yeah.
those AI apps that are out there that can do the art and that stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah.
when
Yeah.
somebody opens it up, it's just you. So so they open it up, it's just you, and you're on there, and you're like, tell me what you want to draw,
That's right. And like I thought
and then
you
it's
were an
just you
AI.
trying to draw it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Well, my last episode of the web series is actually makes fun of the fact that
Oh,
I go as Al Miro and they think I'm an AI. And they're like, "Oh, you're AI," and I was like, "Wait, what?" And they think I'm a robot. So I can
that's
already
funny.
play it on that joke because it's kind of
That's
funny.
awesome.
But that's pretty funny. Like, oh, but it's like, we thought you were AI. And I'm like, no, I'm Al. What do you want? And then I
Yeah.
just do the shittiest drawing ever.
Yeah. Like I can do the same stuff. What do you need?
Looks like a
Same
5-year-old
type stuff.
drew it.
Show me Superman fighting Darth Vader. I'm
That's
like,
right.
okay.
Dude,
You draw
that's
something
actually
like,
really funny.
yeah, it's like stick figures,
I like that, man. That's funny. That's really good.
You can use this anywhere you want.
That's right. That's right.
Shoot. Wow, you have
That's
to come back. This has been a blast.
for sure, man. Yeah, it's been a
It's,
blast for sure.
it's been fun. Okay, hold on one second. The talented Al Miro. Do yourself a favor, check out Puppy Love. It sounds hilarious. Can't wait to see it. I'm big Jane Seymour fan, so I'm really excited to see her on camera. I saw that she was in the movie, so I reached out to see if she was available to come on the podcast. She's in production, so we'll try to bring her on at some point in the future. I've been watching Jane since I was just little and have always loved her as an actress. I think she's really talented. Just like Al is terrific. If you saw him in Firefly Lane, it's so funny. Riverdale, he was great. Check out his web series as well, How to Make It in Hollywood When You're a Foreign AF. It really is funny. He's done such a great job on that. I think we're going to see a lot more from him on the writing side, especially the comedy side. Really, really good. Puppy Love, you can watch on Freevee right now. It's eventually coming to Amazon, but it's basically the same thing. You get it on Amazon, or Freevee is Amazon's free version. So find it there, watch it. Great date night movie. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you. Glad you're here. You can definitely help us out. If you're a watcher, our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Really helps us out. If you're a listener, wherever you listen to, just subscribe there. That'll help us as well. We're putting out episode 735 today. You can find all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. So please come visit us there as well. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Two Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. You know, not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. You know, those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to IMDb, imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, you know, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.